Welcome to Khaliis Take. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe. Also hit the notification bell so you can get the newest content first. But let's just go ahead and jump right in. You know, I've noticed a couple things about the Clippers over watching them the last, I'd say, 8 or 10 games. And I've been watching very closely because I wanted to see certain things that, you know, I could see that maybe they can improve on, or see certain things that I feel like, you know, they can, you know, maybe get better at, or however you want to categorize that. But I've been watching very closely and I've been taking notes, actually. So my thing is with the Clippers, the last, you know, just I'd say 2 things in specific that, you know, that I noticed that needs to be changed soon. And, you know, I might have spoke about a little bit on my other videos, or spoke of it, but now I'm speaking about it now because I've seen it on a continual basis. And now we're going to elaborate on it. So, you know, as far as the Clippers, you know, of course, everybody knows, you know, what the projection is for them. It's the highest part of the ceiling. It's championship or bust. And that's just where they ought to be, because they have all the talent in the world to do a lot of good things, but it's up to them to do it. And really, honestly, it's kind of up to their health, you know, to make that happen as well. So when I look at the situation with the Clippers, one thing that I see that could be an interesting, or that looks interesting to me, and not, I shouldn't use the word interesting, but it looks very peculiar to me, is, you know, Ty Lue. I've spoke about him in regarding to, you know, staggering his lineups and be more concise with his lineups. I don't really understand why he has PG and Kawhi in playing the exact same minutes, you know, all the freaking time. I really don't get that. And I saw it for a little while. Like I said, I just really kind of, you know, shed off on it. I didn't want to speak on it too much because I didn't know, you know, how long Ty Lue's going to keep exercising that option. But most teams, you know, they stagger minutes between 2 superstars or multiple superstars. They don't have them in there specifically the whole time together. I mean, of course, there's plenty of times where you see them in there together, but there's also a time or two where you really see one player in there, you know, and the other player in at some point where both of them can feel, and both of them get to feel the game, and both of them can dominate a lot more. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like what Ty Lue is doing by leaving Kawhi and PG in there for the most part together, you're really taking one strength away from the other one, you know, to a degree. Now, of course, you know, they need to play together and all those things. They need to get more, you know, acclimated with each other once again on the floor. But I just think that staggering their minutes is definitely going to benefit both of them a lot more, because you'll see PG, you know, play the way he plays, and then you'll see Kawhi, you know, play the way he plays. And, you know, Kawhi is the best player on the team, so he really needs to get his rhythm back quicker, because they're going to go pretty much how Kawhi Leonard goes, you know, along with Paul George too. But Kawhi has to get back to that 25 to 27 point averaging range. And the only way he's going to do that really, you know, is to, you know, be on the floor, get more his rhythm, get more touches where he likes in his spots where he can dominate. Like we saw, I think it was a few nights ago against against the Wizards. He had a 31-point game without Paul George being there, because he had more time to catch his own rhythm and take the shots he usually likes taking. And he doesn't really have to share that with Paul George being on the floor, and he kind of can get into his rhythm that way. So Ty Lue's going to have to do a better job of staggering minutes, I believe, between both of them, so both of them can catch a rhythm, because the better the competition, the better rhythm both of them need. You can't have a lot of games where one, you know, has, you know, 26 points, the other one has 15 or something like that. I mean, that can happen against sorry teams, but when you play better competition, the better teams, both players need to be locked in. Both players need to be locked in on both ends of the floor, offense and defense. And the only way for that to happen is to give them the minutes that they both need, and to stagger their minutes so they can both have dominant performances, you know, in between time. Like, let's say hypothetically, you know, the first quarter, you know, Paul George, you know, plays, you know, the first quarter with like about 3 minutes to go in the quarter. Kawhi is still in there. You know, then the first 2 minutes or 2 or 3 minutes of the next quarter, Kawhi is in there, and then PG comes back in. You know, Kawhi sits down, just hypothetically, not saying this is how it's supposed to go, but just hypothetically, you know, Kawhi sits down, PG Plays most of the second quarter with about 5 to 7 minutes or 5 to 6 minutes left in the second quarter. You bring Kawhi back in with PG and they close out the second quarter, the first half. And, they close out, kind of like that, close out the fourth quarter together, things like that. But you got to kind of stagger their minutes more so both of them can be in rhythm at the same time. Because like I said, what you're looking at now, a lot of games, it looks like, both of them have a rhythm at some point, but it kind of goes away because they're trying to be extra for one another. They're trying to make an extra pass to one another so one wouldn't feel like he's left out or something, almost like they're playing take-turn basketball, and that's not championship winning basketball. So I think Ty Lue's definitely going to have to make, some adjustments there. And the number two thing that I noticed, these last 4 or 5 games, I really paid attention to John Wall, and I'm seeing his numbers not looking that great. And I know John Wall has complained about his minutes restriction and all that, but the minutes that he's getting, he's really not playing up to the level I thought that he would be. I mean, if anything, I didn't think he'd be a great scorer for them or anything like that because they don't need him to be, but he can't average 5 assists. John Wall has to average at least about 7 assists or somewhere in there because, hell, 5 assists a game, Kawhi and PG can average that per game. You know what I'm saying? What they need John Wall for if they're going to get that minimal effort in regards to dishing out the ball. Now, of course, I do understand the minutes restriction is holding him back from a little bit, but the minutes that he's getting, he still should be distributing the ball at more of a higher level and not getting as much turnovers. I watch specifically the game I'm thinking of off the top of my head was the game against Charlotte. I mean, he had like 2 or 3 turnovers back to back. That kind of, Charlotte wasn't going to come back and win, but I mean, if that was a better team, those 2 or 3 turnovers can, dictate the game. You see what I'm saying? And you're paying John Wall to come in here and be a very good decision maker and, anchor the offense the way he's supposed to and the way he can. And he's not, really doing it right now. I think right now he's averaging like 5.4 or 5.5 assists or somewhere like that. And that's what Kawhi and PG average. You know what I'm saying? Or just about. So it's like, it's not really, to me, they need more of his assists than his scoring. And I feel like John Wall comes in there and tries to score more than what I think he's supposed to because he's frustrated that he's not getting the minutes he's supposed to get and everything. But he has to realize he's here for a job, and the job is to do his job to the highest level and distribute that ball, score when needed, so you can help this team, be a part of this team, and help this team win a championship. So, I mean, I'm going to need, Ty Lue to sit down and speak with him a little bit more, maybe kind of figure out something, and maybe, John Wall to just be a little bit more patient and hold on. His minutes restriction will be gone soon, if not already. And but even when his minutes restriction is gone, or whatever the case may be, the way he's playing right now, I don't know if he's a much better option than Reggie Jackson being in the starting lineup. You see what I'm saying? So, and I know everybody's, thought process was John Wall would be a starting point guard for the Clippers, at least maybe by mid-season, by the time the season's out, before the playoffs. And I thought the same thing. But so far, what I'm seeing, I don't know if he's worthy of being the starting point guard right now. Reggie still might need to hold that down because Reggie can score a lot better than John Wall. And on top of that, Reggie can average about five or 6 assists a game himself. You know what I'm saying? 4 or 5 assists itself. So, I mean, it's not really much difference with John Wall right now. But, of course, as I said, before, I understand, he's still trying to figure things out with this team and figure out his niche. But he's going to have to pick it up if this team wants to be a lot better and they want to be more consistent in winning and be more consistent in dominating teams that they're supposed to beat, on a nightly basis rather than, having teams hang around some games where you find yourself in a nail biter at the end and you never know, who wins, you know what I'm saying? Because you're allowing turnovers to happen on your watch where it shouldn't be happening with a high level point guard as John Wall once used to be. I still think he does have a lot of that in him, but he's going to have to show it, a lot sooner than later. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. Check out my other videos if you haven't. And hey, till next time.